Hello everyone! Today, we are going to discuss a case about Ted Bundy, the handsome, elusive buttocks biter. Forensic chemistry is essential in the criminal justice system, providing scientific analysis that aids in solving crimes and securing convictions, like the case of Ted Bundy. Before I go further, let me give you some introduction on this case. Theodore Robert Bundy was an American serial killer who kidnapped, raped, and murdered numerous young women during the 1970s. His criminal activities primarily spanned Washington and Oregon, where he lured victims by pretending to be injured or in need of assistance. Many of his early murders occurred near college campuses, including the University of Washington and Oregon State University. Bundy's methods involve abducting women from these locations, often using charm to gain their trust before committing his heinous acts. He confessed to 30 murders, but the actual number is believed to be much higher. From the study of Ted Bundy's case, we learned that forensic chemists played several crucial roles in the investigation. One of their primary responsibilities was ensuring the proper collection, preservation, and documentation of evidence, which is crucial for maintaining its integrity throughout the legal process. They also collaborated with law enforcement, forensic psychologists, and other experts to build a comprehensive understanding of Bundy's behavior and methods. This contributes to a more complex investigation. In addition to these collaborative efforts, forensic chemists also analyze various types of forensic data, interpreting findings that help establish Bundy's guilt. Their expertise was vital during trials as they prepared detailed reports and presented their findings in a way that clarified complex scientific concepts for juries. Furthermore, they contributed to the development of best practice and protocols in forensic science, enhancing the reliability of evidence collections and analysis for future cases. Collectively, these roles highlight the essential contributions of forensic chemistry in high-profile criminal investigations like Bundy's. Let's take a look at the physical evidence that we find in the investigation of this case.
These are the physical evidences found for the Chi Omega house. The first one is the bite mark. The bite mark was believed to be linked to the murder of Lisa Levy and Margaret Bowman in the house. It was found at the left buttock, breast, nipple of Lisa Levy. Silicone mold of Bundy's teeth impression was made so that it can be compared with the bite impression on Levy's body. It was done by two forensic odontologists, and it resulted that both of the impression was matched. The second one is the hair sample. It was found at the clothing and bed of Levy, Bowman, Cleaner, and Chandler. Also found on the pantyhose mask, which found within Cheryl Thomas' apartment. So, under microscopic examination, hair samples are all the same as it exhibit the same structural and microscopic properties. The third one is the fiber evidence. It was found at the clothing and bed of all of the victims. Under stereo microscopic examination, the fiber was believed to come from the same origin as it exhibit the same microscopic and optical properties. And thus this may suggest that the perpetrator may come into close contact with all of the victims and may pose sexual assault. The fourth evidence is the blood. It was found at the beds, clothing, walls, and floors. This blood splattering pattern may helps to establish the reconstruction of the crime scene, like how the victims was attacked and how do they respond to the perpetrator during the time of the crime. Blood pooling under Levy and Bowman's head. This may suggest that the victims was beaten severely multiple times, maybe by blunt substance that caused blunt force injuries, maybe strangled to death and struck while lying down. It was further strengthened by the blood evidence found on the woodlock. Lastly, the shoe print evidence. bloody shoe print was found at the floors of the Chi Omega, outside and inside the apartment of Cheryl Thomas. The size is about 10.5. The thread pattern linked to Hush Puppy's brand. So this may suggest that the same person was responsible for the attack at both Chi Omega house and Cheryl Thomas apartment. Next are the physical evidences from Lid's murder. The first one is semen stain. So it was found on Lid's panties. ABO blood typing was used to detect the blood type. Even though the blood type cannot be detected, but this may confirm the non-secreted status of Bundy's blood type. Non-secreted means the blood type antigens do not present in other body fluids like semen and saliva except for blood, and thus it cannot be detected. Second one is the hair evidence. It was found at the clothing and body of Leach, so the hair sample was taken and compared with the one obtained from the Chi Omega crime scene. Under the forensic analysis, it exhibits the same microscopic properties and thus come from the same origin. Third one is the fiber evidence. Fiber from the Lid's clothing was found on Bundy's clothing and also inside the Bundy's van. Carpeting fabric of the van also found on Lid's clothing. So this may suggest that Leach was kidnapped and admitted into Bundy's white van. The match of all Van's carpet, burgundy cotton, blue wool, and blue polyester on both Bundy and Lid's clothing suggests that both have come into close contact with one another, and this Bundy may sexually assault and rape her. These are all based on the Locard's exchange principle. Lastly, the shoe print evidence. It was the same with the Chi Omega. The size is 10.5, but this time the thread pattern is distinctive and there is no specific design or brand that can be linked to it. But overall, it was all consistent with the Bundy foot size and typical footwear impression.
So, in order to solve the case of Ted Bundy, there were 4 major techniques that were used in the investigation. We will discuss first about bite mark analysis. The bite mark found on the body of one victim is undeniably one of the key pieces of evidence proved to be useful on his conviction, despite the controversy surrounding it. Dr. Richard Soviron presented evidence in Bundy's appeal trial. Bundy's dental impressions were taken by casting his upper and lower teeth into a mold. Bite marks on his victim were compared to the dental impressions of Bundy's in terms of their structure, alignment, and sharpness. Not only bite mark, fibers scattered in the crime scene were also analyzed and used against Bundy. Various types of fibers were collected from the victim's clothing, crime scene, and Bundy's vehicle. The samples were thoroughly examined to determine the origin and whether they matched Bundy's belongings. Moreover, strands of hair found on the pantyhose of one victim were matched with Bundy's hair sample. Microscopic examinations of the found fibers were performed. Other techniques used were the burning and solubility tests and fluorescence tests. Photographic evidence is one of the most used forensic techniques as it provides visualization to the evidence and the crime scene. Photographs of the crime scene, Bundy's personal belongings, injuries sustained by the victims, and suspected evidence were all documented for the prosecution of Bundy. Photographs of bite marks found on Lisa Levy were used to compare the similarity between the dental impressions taken from Bundy. Photographic evidence was crucial to preserve the initial state or condition of evidence before further tests and examinations were done on it. It also had notable emotional impact on jurors, further conveying the brutality of Bundy's behavior. Lastly, testimonies were collected from the victims, officers, and experts to further solidify the case against Bundy. Nathaniel Lee, Kathy Kleiner, Ken Chandler, officer recruit were among many more individuals who had given their testimony against Bundy. The witnesses record the state of the crime scene, their actions, and were asked open-ended questions. Their testimonies were then documented along with supported evidence to be used in court against Bundy. These testimonies were crucial to link Bundy to the crime scene.
Assalamualaikum and good morning. My name is FATIN HANANI IZZATI binti Muhammad HAIZAD and my matric number is BS221103994. Today, I will briefly discuss about the challenges faced by the forensic investigations. There are four key areas. The first one is interstate crimes and fragmented jurisdictions. Bundy's crime has took over multiple states including Washington, Oregon, Utah, Colorado, and Florida. There is no centralized system to share the information between law enforcement agencies. This lack of collaboration delayed the identification patterns in Bundy's crime. For example, Bundy escaped custody in Utah and fled to Florida, where he has committed more crimes such as the Chi Omega sorority attacks. The second one is limitations of forensic technology. Forensic technique was still underdeveloped in the 1970s. DNA analysis was not yet a tool, and the forensic specialists relied on methods such as blood type matching and bite mark analysis, which are now considered less reliable or subjective. A piece of evidence against Bundy was the bite mark he left on the body of Lisa Levy, a victim of Chi Omega sorority attacks. Third one is manipulation and escapes. Bundy used his intelligence and charisma to manipulate those around him to lower their guard. He escaped custody twice, where once he jumped out of the courthouse window in Colorado and again by sailing through the ceiling of his jail cell. Each escape bought him more time to commit more murders, forcing the law enforcement to restart their investigations from scratch. Lastly, environmental and physical evidence. Many of Bundy's victims was abducted in remote or forested areas, leading to degradation of physical evidence. Some skeletal remains of some victims were found months after their deaths, making it harder to retrieve forensic data like fingerprints or fibers. To conclude, this case highlights the importance of advancing forensic technology and improving the interagency collaboration. Thank you.
Hello, my name is HANNANI HAIZUBEIRA SENOR with matrix number BS2211033. So to conclude the case, the Ted Bundy case is a prime example of how forensics play a pivotal role in solving complex crimes. It shows that evidence like bite marks, fibers, and hair must be meticulously collected and preserved to prevent contaminations. The case also underlined the importance of collaborations of police, forensic experts, and legal advisors who work closely to piece together the evidence. Lastly, it reveals the need for modernizations in forensic techniques, as even widely used methods like bite mark analysis require updates to maintain their reliability. Bundy's interstate crimes pose significant jurisdictional challenges, highlights the needs for a stronger cooperation and centralized database to track offenders effectively. At the time, limited communications between state authorities created delay in sharing crucial information. This exposed a gap that modern systems such as integrated database have since aimed to resolve. Additionally, forensic professionals had to deal with evidence from crime scenes that were distant, degraded, and incomplete, which tested their skills, creativity in extracting critical details. Their ability to adapt and work around such limitations was pivotal in building the case. Ultimately, the case left a lasting legacy, emphasizing the importance of constant innovations in forensic science. It serves as a powerful reminder that forensic techniques must not only keep pace with advancements in technology, but also address the complexity of modern crimes to ensure justice is achieved. That is all from our group. Thank you.